Welcome back to the lab, folks. So today we're going to have a look at this little do-it-all module. So this thing is supposed to be able to charge lithium-ion batteries, and it's supposed to be able to boost their voltage to anywhere between, I think it's 4 volts or 4.5 volts up to 28 volts. And it's supposed to have over discharge protection as well. So it's basically a little do-it-all power management, battery management module. Got USB-C connector here for charging, and it's got a couple of little status lights on it that will allow you to see whether it's charging or whether it's fully charged. And it's got this little pot here for adjusting the voltage. Now this whole thing here is the main chip on it is a 4056. That's that chip here. The modern phones and modern devices don't use it anymore, but if you go back a decade or so, it was in everything. But these days they've got, PD, high current charging and all the stuff. This is incapable of that. It's also got the ability to program the charge rate. So it comes with a 1K resistor. That's that little resistor right there. And you could put in different values in there and get a different charge rate. So that gives you the maximum charge rate of 1 amp. That would be suitable for a battery of this nature. So that's fine. This is the battery I'm going to use it on this with my first project, so that everything's fine. I don't have to change that. But if you had a much smaller battery that you're using, then you might want to change that resistor. So I think the formula is 1000 over the resistance. So 5K gives you 200 milliamps, 1K gives you an amp, and you can figure that from there. And the next chip on this is the boost converter chip. It's an SDB628. And it runs at 1.2 megahertz. Its efficiency is as much as 93%. So that's at 200 milliamps out. And this chip here, I don't know what it is. The marking on it is MKI3H. So if anybody knows what that is, appreciate it very much if you leave that down in the comments, because I can't figure it out. I looked at a couple of different IC databases and I couldn't come up with what it is. Now it is hooked up to the output of this chip here, the output of the 4056. And also to the battery. So it goes to the B plus and B minus. So I think it's going to detect the voltage and then turn on or off the output. So I think this is the low voltage detector. And it remains to be seen, because I can't get a data sheet on it, it remains to be seen what voltage it'll drop out at. And we're going to check that out too. And what else can I say? Oh yeah, this here is not just a 4056, it's a 4056H. And that H means it doesn't have the facility to monitor a thermistor. So there's no temperature management with this chip here. It's kind of like the cost-reduced version of the 4056. So let's get started on the first test, and I'll be right back. All right, folks, here we are. So we've got it set up here. This meter here is reading the voltage coming into it, and it's going into where the battery would go. And this is reading the voltage coming out of it. So let's start at 5 volts. Now let's see where we'll go. So we'll go up to 28.16 and it'll go right down to 3.8. So about 0.1 volts less than what's coming into it. So that's good. It's good range. And like I say, you have to make sure that you're only going to pull about 5 watts out of the thing. So you should be able to pull at 5 volts, you should be able to pull about an amp. And I think that's shown here. So if you look here at the data sheet, at this graph here, we can see that as the voltage goes from about 5.6 and then it starts to drop off at 1 amp. So you're down at 5.1 volts. So you're definitely hitting a point here where you're not going to get any more out of it. Now that's at 5 volts. I imagine at 10 volts that drop down would occur maybe about here, and it keeps going back. So just be careful about it. Don't try to draw too much current on it. This little boost converter is not up to much more than that. All right, I've got this big 10 ohm resistor here, and we can hook up the output of this thing to the 10 ohm resistor. So we'll get a half an amp here. Let's see how much the voltage droops. 3.8 volts going in. We've got 4.9 volts coming out. Let's see where it drops off. So we'll bring this down and see what it's going to cut off the battery at. So like I said, this is in place of the battery here right now. We wouldn't like to see this go down much below about 3 volts. So we're getting to that point now. And it hasn't cut off yet. Oh, that's not great. It's beginning to here. So it's beginning to limit the current at 2.8, 2.7, 2.6. So yeah, it really doesn't cut off until about 2.5 volts. So that's not great. I'll tell you why. So if you have a battery like this and you're running it, you're running it, you're running it, and you're getting it down to like about 2.8 or 2.7 volts or even 2.6, and it hasn't cut off. You don't know that you're down at that level yet because it's still going to pump out pretty close to 5 volts. And then you put that piece of equipment away for a long time. You don't want to store a lithium ion battery at that voltage for any length of time. Like if it was a very high current, like you're drawing down about close to an amp or half an amp on this, and it went down, it shut off. That's fine because you probably see that the voltage would pop right back up again. But if you're down at 0.26 volts and then you leave it at that, and you're just powering something at 100 milliamps or 50 milliamps, then this battery really is at 0.26 or 2.6 volts. And you can't put that battery away like that, because if you do, you take it back 6 months later and you dump an amp charge into it, you might have some problems with it. So I think the lesson here is don't rely on this module for over discharge protection. Use a battery like this, which I'm going to use, that already has a protection board built into it. So don't use a naked battery on this here. At least that's my opinion. I wouldn't want to do that. All right, let's bring the voltage back up again. See where it comes back in. Okay, so it comes back in at about 2.9 volts. So next thing I want to do is I want to attach a battery to it and have a look at it that way. I want to see what kind of current it's charging at. Now I have this battery, I know this battery is at 3.7 volts. That will be good to try the charging on it. We'll hook that all up and we'll come right back. Okay, so right now we have the battery is hooked up through this meter here. Now you see we're putting out the 5 volts and no load. This is just the meter on it. And it's drawing about 126 microamps. So we can even remove the meter from the equation here, see if that changes things. It drops it down by about 0.6 microamps. So that is the quiescent current. So if you leave this sitting here, it's going to discharge over time, but not really a lot. So it's going to be, do the math, it could be months before this depletes this battery significantly. Now we can see what kind of current will go into it when we connect up the charge thing here. So let's we put this up into the milliamp range here. Actually, I'm going to go up into amps, because it's set up for an amp. And that's AC, so we go DC. That's one thing that bugs me about this meter, is every time you change range, it defaults to AC. Okay, so we're getting 937 milliamps going into this battery. So that's pretty close to the amp there. All right. So the next thing I guess I want to do to check on is what kind of noise is coming out of it. So I'm going to have to do a setup for that. I'm going to get an oscilloscope going here, and I'll have to set up something completely different here. All right, folks, we're back, and let me show you what we've got set up here. So we've got the differential probe set up here so we don't pick up any common mode noise. I'll get a scope up there in a second. I decided to go through this to see what kind of current. So we know it's 5 volts coming out. 5 volts going to 10 ohms is going to give us half an amp. So I think this is now at around about 3.5 volts. So we'll see what kind of current we get out of it going from 3.5 volts up to 5 volts at half an amp, what kind of draws on the battery. And then we'll have a look at the noise. I've got the oscilloscope. Let's get it up there so I can explain what's going on here. Okay, we should have an oscilloscope up there. And what we can see here is just background noise in my lab. And I wish I knew where it was coming from, but it always seems to be there. This kind of thing here is like an antenna, so it's picking it up, making it a little bit worse. So we got like 226 millivolts peak to peak of noise there. And with this plugged in, it goes up to 540 millivolts. And the frequency, 1.16 megahertz. That's close enough. Now, we know we got 5 volts coming down there and going into a 10 ohm load, so we got half an amp here. And at 3.5 volts, at 3.5 volts that we have, at the battery, we got 0.857 amps. So that's the actual draw on the battery is going to be a little bit higher than what it is going into the load, depending of course on the voltage that you have out. As you increase that voltage, the current here is going to go up, given the same output current. So there you go. Well, that's it. It does look like it's a little bit noisy. What's the RMS value of that? So the RMS value is about 33 millivolts. That's not too bad. The peaks bother me a little bit though. But again, like I say, it's up around 1.2 megahertz, so it may be easy enough to filter that out and get something a little bit cleaner. So what's the RMS noise? So about 17 millivolts background noise. So this thing is actually adding, take out the background noise, you're adding maybe about 25, and it's just doing the math in my head very quickly with square roots and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, about 25 millivolts of RMS noise. All right, folks, I think that's about it. That's about all I can think of to do with this. So I don't know what to call this module, but I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But it does use those two main chips. The SDB628 is doing the boosting, and that's what's making the noise for us here. And the 4056 is not going to be all that noisy because it is a linear regulator. And then there is that little chip on there which does the cutoff. Again, I don't know what it's called. Again, it is a MKI3H, and I do believe it's just going to be a voltage sensing switch. So it gets down below a certain value, which we saw was about 2.5 volts, and then it'll shut off. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.